All right, so basically what I'm doing here is I'm making this video for the teachers that have already made question banks in the classic or what's called the classic quiz banks, or if you made your item banks in the old one or the original quizzes, however you want to describe it as. And so we just got an email saying that Canvas is going to switch over in January to the new quizzes. So I just wanted to show teachers how you can um, switch over your item banks, because as of right now, yes, you can migrate just a regular quiz over, but if you're like me, you've created a lot of item banks that you have your information pulled from for your quizzes and or for your test, and so you also want to be able to take those over there. Um, if you do migrate a quiz over to it, you can make it into an item bank by individually clicking on each one, but that's going to take a long time. So I found a little bit quicker of a way. It's not super fast, but it at least will make it to where you can still take that stuff with you, and you can still use it. It still will take a little bit of time to do so. So right here at the top, you'll see that I actually have two different windows open. That's just to make it a little bit faster. Basically, what I have open is I have my actual biology course open, and then I have my biology one RHS one, which is nothing more than our shell course that we work in as a collective. And so I'm just going to show you kind of how I do this. Um, so first things first is on the assignments. So one thing that really stinks about this is that there's no just quick and easy button for you to be able to get to the item banks. If there is, I haven't found one, so okay, I'll just show you how I did it. So you have to first have a new quiz done. So I just made just a one that I just call it new quizzes link, and by clicking on it, that'll of course take you into your new quizzes, and there's no due date on this. This is nothing more than to allow me access to the item banks. So this will allow you to see the item banks, but actually where you want to click on are these three vertical dots in the top right hand corner. You click on it and you'll go to manage item banks. So you'll see here I have several item banks I've already started working through, and it does take a little bit of time to make them, to switch everything over, but it is definitely a lot quicker than making the quizzes and migrating them all and then clicking on each one individually to become one. So I'm going to just kind of show you. I'm going to walk through one real quick. I'm going to just make a new bank. So I'm just going to add a bank in. And I always, of course, start with the standard. So this will be 1D1 active transport. And that just lets everything be nice and organized, and everything's in the order in which it is. And so that's there. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back to my other course. I'm just going to leave this one on the bank. I'm going to go back to my other course over here, and so I'm just going to click quizzes, and this is the route that you would take to go into your old, to be able to manage your old quiz banks. And so I'm just going to click these three dots over here to where it says manage question banks, and so I'm just going to show you what I'm doing here. So you'll see right here that this one right here that says 1D1 active transport, that's what I'm going to actually bring over, is that one. So I'm just going to go back to where it said quizzes at. I'm just going to create a new quiz. And I'm actually going to label it what I want my bank to be labeled. So it'll be 1D.1 active transport. Let's call it bank. Make it easy. Go to questions. So typically, whenever you're getting them to pull at random or you're doing that kind of deal, you'd go to question group. You don't want to do that because it won't pull the group over. You actually want to go to find questions. And whenever you do that, you'll just scroll down to the ones that you want. So, of course, I'm going to 1D1, And I'm going to have everything pulled from our group one, which is active, which is going to say Biology 1 RHS. So I select it. You always want to scroll down in case you have a lot of questions in it. Down here, sometimes it'll say, load more questions. If you had a bunch of them, I think it's over 50. You'd want to do that first before you hit select all. So once you have them all shown, you hit select all, then you just say add questions. And then once that gets to the right number, so it's at 24, that's correct. And I'm just going to go to save. So typically what you would do at this point, you could go back and you could migrate this over, and then individually you would have to click on each one to have it added to the bank. But what we're going to do is do something that's just a little bit faster than that. We're going to go to export, quiz, there we go, 1D1 active transport bank. And remember, this is the way to do it if you're wanting to transport a bank. If all you have is just your regular quizzes in there and you never did make banks, then by all means do the migrating. That'll work 10 times easier for you. But if you want to get your banks over there and it not take all day, then do it this way. So remember, it's going to get all the way there. It tells you that it has been exported. Make sure you click on New Export. Right here, you'll have that QTI file, and you're just going to not worry about that right now. So now that that's downloaded and it's down here, go click on your new quizzes. And so I'm going to go down here to where it said Active Transport. And I'm going to click on those vertical 3 dots again. And now I'm going to hit this thing where it says Import Content. Browse. And of course, I typically have mine by date modified and let's see, downloads, I guess. And that way I know that this is the one that I'm looking at right here. That's the one I just did. So I just hit that and then import. And just a side note, whatever you name the quiz, that's actually going to change the name of the bank right here. So like right now it says 1D1 Active Transport. But actually what that bank, what I named that quiz was Active Transport Bank, and so it's actually going to create that name on it instead. So of course I'm done. Just going to look through this just to make sure it's all there. It is, so I am happy. There we go. And of course if you wanted to add in new questions, you could add in new questions there and that kind of deal. If you wanted to edit, you can edit, and do whatever it is that you need to do. So, of course, done. And of course, here's your thing where you can align it to outcomes and whatnot. So there you go. I'm going to do that one more time just in case you need to see that again. So of course, I'm just going to hit return. Go back to my banks again, manage item banks. So that, of course, is where it is, and that's for those 24 questions. So I'm just going to add another one. The other one I'm going to add this time is 1D.1 passive transport bank. So I have my bank there. I'll just go ahead and click on it. I'll come over here. I'll go back to my quizzes. Go to plus. I'm going to add a quiz. That's going to be 1D.1 find questions. Passive transport right here, these 24 questions. Select all, in which I know that it's not going to be too many. Let's say it's 24. Boom, this is 24. Save. Settings. Export course content. Quiz. We don't want all of them. I just want that one individual one. And you can't do more than these at one time. I already tried that out because what would end up happening, like if I wanted to try to do all of transport at one time, then what would happen is that would actually put it into one file and it would load it into one bank, and then I would still have to go through there and individually separate them. So it's just easier not to do that and you just do one at a time. And how I've been working on switching these over is I've just been doing it by units. So of course this is my transport unit for biology. All right, new export. Got to make sure you hit that. If you don't end up hitting that, it's not actually going to download it to the computer to where you can get it. Go over to those vertical three dots, import content, browse, boom. There we go. And done. All right. So there you go. I just wanted to show you that. Hopefully that'll help you out if you do have a lot of banks and you're kind of angry about the idea of possibly losing them. You don't have to lose them, and you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours working on it. This will take some time, but you can chip away at it little by little, and it won't drive you too crazy, I hope. Anyway, I hope this works out for you, and I hope it's beneficial. Thanks. Bye.